Hi, this video is to help you decode CVC words and open and close syllables. So to start off, you want to have at least 2 different colors. I'm going to have 3 just in case. They can be skinny or fat markers. The size does not matter. You are good to go. Alright, so the first thing is on your paper, you're going to write this word down and don't read it yet. Okay, go ahead and write that word down. I-N-L-E-E-T. Okay. Our first step is to find all our vowels. So if you need to, we specifically made our vowel tents to help each other remember what vowels are. So those would be A, E, I, O, or U. If you need a second, go ahead and get your vowel tents out to make sure that you know how to label your vowels correctly. So I'm going to label mine on here. Okay, step 1. I is my first vowel, so I put a V below that. And E is my second vowel, so I put a V right below that. My next step is to connect my vowels, or just like we talked about, make my face. So I'm going to connect it from the bottom of the V to the bottom of the V. I do not want to do the whole word. I'm only going to start at the V and end at the other one. Our next step is to label our consonants. So if it is not a vowel tent, it is automatically a consonant. Consonant starts with C, so we're going to label our consonants with a letter C. Be careful and don't let the letters trick you. If you have an SH or a CH or any kind of digraph, those are labeled as 1C because they make one sound. In this case, we don't have any. Okay, next we're going to look at our syllable division. So this is how we're going to break apart our different syllables to break down our word and make it a little bit easier to read. In class, we talk about our 2 different syllable division patterns. So we always start with number 1. And then if we can't find that one, we go to number 2. So our first one is VCCV. Let's look here. We started our underlined letters only. I don't care about the ones that aren't underlined. Okay, so I see VCCV. Oh my gosh, that matches number 1. So over here, I see VC line CV. So over here, I'm going to look and do the same thing. VC line CV. And that's where we would divide our syllables because we found our first pattern. Our next step is to label our syllables. So far, we have only learned 2 types of syllable labels, open and closed. We know that we write closed with a CL in a circle, and we write open with an O in a circle, as over here. So when we look at our word, we're going to look to see if it ends with a consonant or a vowel. So our first syllable, we can ignore this half. We're only going to look at our first syllable. Our first syllable ends with an N. An N is a consonant. If it ends with a consonant, it is closed. Ends with a consonant, it is closed. So I'm going to put CL right on top so I know it's talking directly about that first syllable. Let's look at our second syllable. We can cover up this side because we don't need it. Our syllable ends with a T. T is a consonant. If our syllable ends with a consonant, it is closed. So in this case, both of our syllables are closed. Okay. When we read our word, which is our last step, if we have a closed syllable, we're going to use our visual cues that we talked about to help read our words with short vowels. So if you need to, get your handout that we made, put your hand on your hand, and let's sound out the first one. I, N. Whole word, or whole syllable, in. How about this one? Let's do our second syllable. This is also closed, so we're going to use our visual cues for our vowels. L, t, let. Inlet. Your word is inlet. Let's do one more example just to make sure you are good to go. Here's our second word. Again, don't read it, just write it down. H-O-B-O. Our first step is to label our vowels. So I'm going to get my same colored pen out that I used here and label my vowels. It is okay if you only have a pencil. We do not need to worry about it. In this word, our vowels are O's, so I put a V below my O and another V below my other O. My next step is to connect my vowels. So I'm going to go from the bottom of the V to the bottom of the other V. My next step is to label my consonants. Keep in mind that if it's not a vowel, it is a consonant. So I'm going to put a C here and a C here. Hopefully you match me so far. Now I'm going to look at dividing our syllables. Over here are our syllable division patterns. So remember, we always start with number 1. V, C, C, V. Let's check on our underlined part only. V, C, that's not right. Okay, so let's try number 2. V, C, V. V, C, yay, we have a match. So check it over here. It's V, line, C, V. So here we're going to match the same thing. V, line, C, V. Next step is labeling our syllables. So when we look at this, we're going to look at our first syllable. So just all the stuff before the line. Our syllable ends with an O. An O is a vowel. Therefore, if our syllable ends with a vowel, it is going to be open. So we will mark that right above it with an O and a circle. Now let's look at our second syllable. B and O. The last letter I see is an O. An O is a vowel. If it ends with a vowel, it is going to be open. This time when we read our word, when we put our hand and start to sound out our letters, our O, since it is an open syllable, is going to say its name. It's going to be a long vowel. So watch. O, po. Second syllable. B, o, bo. Po, bo. If you have any questions, you can come ask me, or you're welcome to send me an email or a talk on our Google Classroom page.